I think that for me, the things that I wanted on the outside would never fulfill me on the inside until I realized what fulfilled me on the inside and then seek how to achieve it on the outside. And so the biggest lesson that I've ever learned in life was that joy and happiness is something that you define and then find ways to fulfill it. I think that our purpose in life here is to learn, to teach, and to not only climb your own ladder, but be able to help others build their ladders. And then saying, listen, the difference between a diet and a lifestyle is what you do when you fail. With a diet, you give up, you find something new. With a lifestyle, you say, you know what? Today's what it was. And I forgive myself for the mistakes I made. Tomorrow will be better. And so I help them to realize that they're not going to be perfect, but it is important to understand that this is a process and it's about creating a journey of happiness and joy and accomplishment and be happily achieving that versus being so rigid and something that you can't stick to and being disappointed every time you don't reach it.
It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
Welcome to Health in the Real World. We're here with Aaron Hairston. Aaron, how's it going? Thanks for joining us.
It's doing great, man. How about yourself, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. Had 4 hours of clients this morning. Did the workouts with them.
Wow.
I'm feeling good.
I love it, man.
Feeling good.
Yeah, it's
well,
good.
Thanks.
It's good.
I know you've been an athlete, you've been a trainer, and now you're doing mostly isogenics and helping people with nutrition, business building, all that fun stuff. That's great. Tell us a little bit of background about how you got from one step to the next in your journey.
Well, Chris, actually, it's an incredible story. And I'm actually writing my first book and I'm so excited. It's been a long journey, but such content now has pushed me to do this. So it goes all the way back to 2007. And in 2007, I had my big break. I was going on to the NFL. I had done my work and I was ready to go. And I needed one more prerequisite. I ended up playing an arena football game out in Massachusetts. And it was a lot of fun. I had an incredible time, but let me rewind that even further. So I was playing minor league football because in college, I had a hard time balancing school and athletics and academics. And my mom always told me that, you know what, Aaron, you're not going to go to college just to play football. You're going to study something that you're going to build, a career with. Football is great. You're very good at it, but always have a backup plan. I never planned on using the backup plan, but I listened to my mom. I went to school for engineering, matter of fact, computer science, and it was very, very difficult for me to balance that in practice. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and focus on my studies. And maybe I'll play football in the future, and I'll be able to try out wherever it is. And that's what I did. So I found a tryout for an arena football team here in Connecticut and went out for the team, didn't make the team, but was able to make some contacts there to get picked up by a minor league football team, which is kind of like Weekend Warrior, but it was another level above that. There was a really good group of kids like ourselves that were kind of in that transition. They were young enough to go to the next level, but didn't have the opportunity, but were super athletic. So we had a great group of kids, and we had a lot of fun. We won some championships. And during one of our championships, I was scouted by the New York Giants. And so I was able to kind of have some conversations about the opportunity. And all I had to do was play some arena football. That was the only prerequisite, was for me to play some arena football during the winter time and then go into camp, because I wasn't a draftee. I didn't come out of a big college. So here was my opportunity. So I try out, I travel back and forth 2 weeks straight, 4-hour drive, 2 hours one way, 2 hours back, and about a 4 to 5 hour workout at night. It was incredible. After working a full hour, full day of work, 8 to 9 hours of engineering, just brain depleting stuff. And I made the team. And it was so exciting. Here I was amongst all these 20 somethings, and I was pushing 30. And I said, you know what? This is what it was meant to be. So I went ahead and made the team, played in the first 5 games. The 5th game, I blew out my ACL and PCL.
Oh.
And,
This was in the arena football.
This was
game.
arena football.
Yeah.
And it was devastating, Chris. It was devastating. And I thought about my future now. And I said, football's gone. Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator for the Giants, called and said, hey, I've heard of what happened this weekend. And unfortunately, we're not going to bring you in, but good luck with everything. And, here's to a fast recovery. And I'm like, oh. So it took me about 9 months to recover. And came back, played another season. It wasn't the same at arena football. And everything started closing up for arena in about 2007, 2008. And so here I was going back to work, really bummed, not really feeling fulfilled, making good money. Computers is very lucrative. I was very busy. I felt important. And so I was chasing after a title, and that's what I was doing. And I kind of came to a kind of a fork in the road because I didn't want to go back to school and learn more because it was just such a tiresome challenge for me. School definitely wasn't easy for me, but I knew I had to do it. And I just had gotten married, in 2004. And so my wife and I were planning on having a family, and it was hard. It was hard trying to let go of football. Yeah. And so I started my own company, was training athletes, and had a lot of fun giving back, training youth athletes, training high school, collegiate athletes, and just really teaching them how to get the best out of life by using the vehicle of sports. And that was my whole premise. And so my brother ended up flying out to Arizona to connect with a nutrition company. Now, when he came back, he was fired up. He was super excited. Said, hey, Aaron, I figured out what we're going to do for the rest of our life. I said, no, I'm good. And he goes, no, listen, Aaron, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with or without you, but I want you to take a look at it. And I was like, I'm all set. And so here I was, very successful, but very unfulfilled. My brother was excited. He had a really bad back injury that ended his career in football. And he caught me at the right time because although I said no to him for about 2-3 months, finally he had hit me at a point where I was like, you know what? What if? What if this is the transition? And, I never understood network marketing. I never got involved in network marketing. I really didn't know what I didn't know, really. I just didn't want to try something new. And so I trusted my brother. And so we end up flying out to Arizona together, take a look at it. I told him I wasn't going to go to the convention. He said, yes, you are. And I did it. So I went. And
is this your older brother? So he has a little influence.
My younger brother, man.
Oh, man.
Little brother, man.
That takes a lot of faith to trust your younger brother.
You know what? It did. And it took a lot of humble pie.
Yeah,
because when I walked in the door, it was totally different. It was totally not expected. And it was a lot of what I was looking for. Wow. It was really good people with a vision to be better and making an impact in the world. And so that's where my journey began as I started to grow myself, because in network marketing, it's all about growth and self-development, really, with a comp plan attached. And because it was health and wellness, it turned me on the fact that I can help people in their kitchen. I can help them with their physical bodies and in longevity and creating a lifestyle. And so it was like a perfect storm. And as they say, the rest was history, man.
That's great. So you're right there at the border of the NFL. You got a good, computer career. By the way, actually, I have a question. I was thinking about this. You're in Connecticut, right?
Yes.
I live in San Jose. I'm here in San Jose, Silicon Valley. Why did you not move to Silicon Valley for computers?
Well, IBM headquarters is here in Southbury, Connecticut.
It is. Okay. Did you work for IBM?
I did.
Okay. All right. Yep. That's a good answer.
So that's what it was.
Nice. All right. So I have a question. This is a little more general, a little more about just kind of getting people to the point of health and fitness, and somebody who, as you know, there's a lot of people in our culture still with all the information that's out there who are not where they want to be. So what would you tell somebody let's say you just meet somebody for the first time, what would you tell them? Like, what are the first couple things that they want to be focused on as far as getting healthy, getting fit? What would you recommend?
Well, Chris, it's not really about what I tell them, it's what I ask them. I think honestly, it's what drives people. that we need to focus on. Because at the end of the day, someone telling me they wanted to lose weight or they wanted to feel healthy, there's some underlying reason behind that. Because if they've been wanting to be healthier and lose weight for years, then it's actually not the weight loss that they're seeking, it's something else. And so when I'm sitting down with someone and I'm doing maybe a consultation about a life transformation or helping them kind of get in path with what they want, I like to ask a lot of questions. And I want to know what it is that they want and why. Because at the end of the day, it's not what I can share with you that's going to work. It's going to work, right? Anything that a professional trainer knows is a proven fact, right? It's some sort of science behind it, but it's you and your willingness to work on that system, right? So asking someone what it is for them and why it's so important is the first thing, right? So getting really clear on what you're willing to commit to and willing to work towards, and letting the people know that, you're going to fail along the way. You're going to try some things. It's not going to feel good. However, what is it to you that you're willing to tolerate? That's the first thing. And then the second thing is really telling them that I'm going to commit to their success in as much as they are, right? So we're going to walk step by step together, right? I'm going to walk alongside you. I'm not going to drag you. I'm not going to push you, okay? But I will inspire you and empower you as much as you want to be, right? So I'm going to take each step with you. And then the third thing is, if this doesn't work out and you don't see the results that you want in the time frame, what will it mean to you? Right? So I like to use what they want, and then if they don't get what they want, what that feeling would look like, so I can remind them of what is important to them.
That's a good point. I love how you start with that motivation and the fact that you're not going to push them harder than they want to be pushed, or that they're going to push themselves. I think that's key actually in a trainer. I think gone are the days of a trainer yelling at, the boot camp style, right? Come on, you maggot. Like what? Like that doesn't work. Maybe in the NFL, maybe to get ready for, you're going to play the Buffalo Bills next weekend or something, but
right.
Otherwise, like, there's really no need. So I love that. I love that kind of, you're hitting both sides. What do you want and why? Because I think when people first start, I think fitness, health is always a means to an end. When you start, it's only when you get going and you realize that, wow, being healthy and fit, it's an end in and of itself. It just feels good. But I think when you're not healthy, it's usually a means to an end. It's like, I want to be fit because I want to play with my kids, or I want to be fit because I want to impress somebody, or I want to be fit because I want to live longer. So I think that's great. And you mentioned failure, which is a perfect segue into the next thing. You're going to fail along the way. What do you tell somebody? Like, what does your pep talk sound like when somebody's fallen off the wagon and something happens that just knocks them off course? They didn't expect it. What's your pep talk?
Well, it's reminding them, one, of why they started, right? And reminding them that they're the ones that chose this path, and forgive themselves, right? I mean, we're not going to be perfect. I put the Lord in the middle of everything I do, and I pray on everything that I do, because I know that I'm not here alone. There's a purpose that I've been driven to do things. And a lot of it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be things that you're going to relearn and unlearn and learn. And so being forgiving of yourself is very important along that journey. And then also explaining to them that their health is not a destination. This is a lifestyle. This is something that you must adopt long-term. So don't pick something that's going to be super rigid that you won't commit to. I'd much rather have you clean up the small areas of your life than actually ripping out the walls and rebuilding a house. Like, I'd rather you gradually grow into the person that feels good while they're doing it and living a full and fulfilling life, enjoying happiness and feeling good, versus someone to just get shredded. Like, I've done that. I've been on stages. I've done bodybuilding. Like, I know what it looks like to diet for 6 to 8 weeks to get on stage and feeling, I mean, I felt amazing. I had a little secret weapon with my nutrition, but for the most part, most people don't feel good during that process, and they can't wait for it to end.
Yes.
So my pep talk, Chris, is really about reminding them why they started in the first place. And then saying, listen, the difference between a diet and a lifestyle is what you do when you fail. With a diet, you give up, you find something new. With a lifestyle, you say, you know what? Today's what it was, and I forgive myself for the mistakes I made. Tomorrow will be better. And so I help them to realize that they're not going to be perfect, but it is important to understand that this is a process, and it's about creating a journey of happiness and joy and accomplishment and be happily achieving that versus being so rigid and something that you can't stick to and being disappointed every time you don't reach it.
Right. Well, that's great. The difference between a diet and a lifestyle is what you do when you fail. That's a perfect summary of that right there, right? It's like, if it's a lifestyle, it's like, it's not a failure. It's just a little bit of feedback. I'm going to move on. Let's do this. That's great. So where do you, are there any areas where you personally struggle with your health and fitness, or maybe you have in the past, and what kinds of things have you done to overcome that struggle?
Great question. So when I got injured, I had gained about 30, 40 pounds, and it was all in my midsection. And although I didn't care, honestly, it did affect me. You know, when I would get up and I would look at myself and be like, damn, like I used to be a specimen. Like I used to be amazing, right? And I just wore bigger clothes. And, you know, in the computer world, we just sat around eating whatever, you know, and we're in the closets fixing computers, after hours. And the thing was, is that we didn't care. Like we were sitting on our butts. So it was very sedentary. And it wasn't until I realized the way I felt that I needed to make a change. And then when I started having children in 2009 and looking at my wife, who I've been with for 25 years, you know, we met when we were 18 and we're both 43 now. The thing is that it had to be bigger than me. And that was the only way I was going to get up off the couch. That was the only way that I was going to go out there and do something that I truly didn't want to do, but knew I had to do. And so for me, it was being humbled and being vulnerable. That was the first thing, because as a football player and as an athlete, it's all about ego. It's all about me. And it's hard to say that you were broken. You know, even after an injury, you don't want to accept it. You want to say, oh, it's like the Al Bundy story. Oh, I used to be, you know what I mean? And,
right.
You know, and woe is me. And then people will really, they would accept it from you. They'd be like, that's cool, Aaron. Yeah, I understand. And for me, that's not what I needed. I needed somebody to tell me, no, Aaron, that's not enough. And I remember laying on the couch and I'm recovering from my knee injury and I'm popping Vicodin and Percocets or whatever they gave me for painkillers. And my wife coming into the room and saying, you better get up off the couch and go wash those dishes. You know? And I'm looking at her like, are you kidding me? And she goes, oh yeah. And your little pain pills here? Yeah, we're going to start taking ibuprofen.
Nice.
We're going to go too. And, you know, she knew, she saw me starting to settle. And so that was the first thing, is that I needed to get a little push from someone that I knew, liked, and trusted, and someone that I knew cared about me. And then after that, you know, following a system again, where there was a progression and a process that wasn't going to be so rigid that I can give myself excuse not to do. You know what I mean? Like it was gradual. And so that's where I struggled the most, was letting my ego go and really being accepting that I can be broken, you know, even though I've done things that most people haven't done, you know, as an elite athlete. And then once I let that go, it actually felt more of a freedom, to be honest with you. I felt like I can be myself. I didn't have to be something that I wasn't anymore. You know what I mean? I can be a human being. I didn't have to be this athlete. So I think for athletes, they struggle with that. And that was one of my biggest vices. But once I got into a system and I got around people in a community that treated me like a human being, allowed me to be vulnerable, allowed me to break down, but also build me up and teach me how to forgive myself and to remind me that, you know what, you know, you're gonna fail, but fail forward. And those are some of the principles that I've struggled with and now I've adopted as fuel now for others.
Absolutely. Because you're learning from those failures and you're making it, you're internalizing it and moving forward with it. So that was a good, 15 years ago or so? You said you're in your late 20s when you were playing arena football?
2007. Yep.
Okay. 13 years. Yeah.
13 years ago.
Cool. So since then, actually, that's a really good segue as far as the mindsets, the golden nuggets of knowledge and wisdom that you've achieved from things like trying to play in the NFL and not making it, blowing out your knee, coming back from that, getting in shape again, building up this business, all that stuff. You are invited to give a keynote speech, let's say at an event or let's say at a graduation, and you're talking to some early 20s. What kinds of things, as far as the bigger picture, those golden nuggets, what kind of motivational speech would you give to those people as far as about life and you can weave health and well-being into it if you want, but bigger picture as well.
Well, I'm going to quote Jim Carrey on this one, because Jim Carrey once said a commencement speech that I wish for everyone to have everything that they ever wanted, to realize that it wasn't it. That's not what it was all about. That's not what life's about. I think that for me, the things that I wanted on the outside would never fulfill me on the inside until I realized what fulfilled me on the inside, and then seek how to achieve it on the outside. And so the biggest lesson that I've ever learned in life was that joy and happiness is something that you define and then find ways to fulfill it. I think that our purpose in life here is to learn, to teach, and to not only climb your own ladder, but be able to help others build their ladders. And so take each day very preciously. Being present in the moment is important. And it's equally important to refuel your mind. Be full of gratitude each day as you wake up. Don't assume anything. Everything is done for you if you allow it to be done for you. And be an accountability of your life. I think for so many people, they struggle with that. And John Maxwell, one of my favorite authors, he talks about if you didn't get what you wanted, it's a sign of two things. Either you really didn't want it in the first place, or you tried to bargain the price. And it's so important, because accountability is everything. You're 100% responsible for what happens and what doesn't happen in your life. And so seek the process that you can find, that you can be enjoying doing each and every day. Take a step forward to be better than you were yesterday. And always remember not to overestimate tomorrow and exaggerate yesterday.
Want to give people a chance to get in touch with you. Actually, I have a quick question. What position did you play when you played football?
Running back, man. I was Tiki Barber's replacement in 2007, bro.
How tall are you? How much do you weigh?
5'11", about 220.
Okay, yeah, that's a running back. Cool. All right. How do people get in touch with you if they want to reach out to you online or find you?
Yeah, just go to my website, aaronhairston.com, and all of my stuff's being revamped and updated, but my contact information is there. Nice. I'm also on LinkedIn. I've grown my entire business basically on LinkedIn so far, nice. Just because I love the community there. So just Aaron Hairston on LinkedIn, and it's AARON HAIRSTON on all platforms, Instagram. And I do a motivational Monday and motivational speech every day, every morning, Monday through Friday, on my Mr. Motivation page and my YouTube channel as well. So thank you, Chris, again, man, for allowing me to share. And I look forward to continuing to build a relationship with you, man, and continue to impact lives all over the world, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome, brother.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World Show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.